What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Conversations Unleashed. It is me, Michael Bonner. Listen, I've been checking out the data. Online, and I've noticed there's a drop-off when I begin this podcast. Y'all, so what we want to do is dive right into it because you've come to one of the best podcasts in the world. Your 10-minute espresso, real, honest conversations around life, business, and education. So on today, y'all, the name of this episode, it is called Problematic Behaviors Attitude. It's a series that we are starting last week, but something I've become passionate about and something I want to become more transparent about. So let's get into these problematic behaviors and let's deal with the one that's the most important, which is attitudes. Now, I want to give you this story and I want to be so transparent with you because I can be, and this is my platform. So if you're riding in the car, if you listen, if you're watching on YouTube, because I'm looking at you right now from my classroom, the vortex of innovation, lean in for me really quickly now because I want to tell you something very powerful. Now, I never planned on going to the Ellen DeGeneres show. I never expected that God would do that inside of my life. And what ended up happening was it changed everything. I was a young 26-year-old man who was divorced, who was working 3 jobs, who was in Eastern North Carolina, staying in a 1-bedroom apartment, which was $425 a month. Y'all, I was trying to figure it out. But what happened is that moment changed my life. And because it changed my life with the gifts God has given me with speaking and influencing and bringing in great energy, what I recognize is there were opportunities that came to me, such as public speaking. I counted yesterday, I have done and conducted 300 keynote speeches and seminars in the past 5 years. God is amazing. And at that point in time, y'all, I recognized I had something special. So what happened is in 2017, I had the opportunity, something special. And 2 years later, I had an opportunity to come down to Atlanta, Georgia at the Ron Clark Academy. Now, for the context of this, as you drive on your road, because people think success just happens and nothing bad ever takes place. Y'all, when I got the opportunity to work at the Ron Clark Academy, I accepted it because I have found out it is extremely important to gravitate towards those who actually appreciate you and enjoy the gifts that you bring to this world. Because I have found out in life that, y'all, sometimes people are envious of something that they should actually be appreciating. You got to be careful. You got to be careful of being jealous and envious of something that is actually supposed to inspire you. So when I moved to Atlanta, I was focused on being here because the Ron Clark Academy, if you haven't looked it up, one of the best schools in the entire world. All my colleagues are amazing in every single way. So there was pressure, not only from just moving to this school, Ron Clark himself, y'all, the man is a legend inside of North Carolina in the education field. And I had to share a classroom with him. And on top of that, as you're listening to this podcast right now, y'all, check this out. I had to teach 2 subjects that I have never explicitly taught before, which is 6th grade reading and 4th grade social studies. And I was terrified. I was inside of my head. I set you up with that because you saw all the success leading in Ellen and all that stuff. And then I had to actually come to a place where I am the little fish in the pond now, in the ocean now. And I'm also in a space where I'm teaching something I never taught before. And the reason why I want to deal with this on today, because I found out it wouldn't have mattered if they would have given me all the new technology. It wouldn't have mattered if Ellen would have came and sat in the classroom herself. What it boiled down to was my attitude. And how was I going to approach the situation? Now, I'm going to be so clear with you on today as I'm looking at this camera. I had 2 options. Either I was going to adjust my attitude and figure out how to teach this content in a powerful and magical way, or I was going to tuck my tail and go back to North Carolina and return home. And where I am from, you cannot make it out and come back home. People are going to have questions. I have a family that I'm representing. I have nieces and nephews that are watching their uncle online. I have friends who have been cheering me on from the lowest pits of my life to where I'm at now. So y'all, at that time, I had to adjust my attitude. And on today, I want to really give you 2 things I need you to watch out for. I'm going to give you 2 things you need to watch out for as you're in the gym right now, as you're working out, maybe if you're sitting home and relaxing, right? I want you to think about these 2 things because your attitude will literally determine everything in regards to how high you go and how far you go. A lot of people have said it before. Kanye West, they say your attitude determines your latitude, right? Amy Fast, a beautiful speaker, once said, I can train teachers and it's easy to give teachers professional development. It's harder to make teachers a better human being. Who you are and what you put inside your mind and how you look at things literally determines everything. And at this point in 2024, I need you to understand something. The very first thing you need to do is you need to watch your intake. What is feeding your mind? When I remember getting here, I had a thought to myself, I can't do it. I don't know if I can I can figure this stuff out in time because not only am I teaching here, but there's teachers coming every week to watch me teach at the Ron Clark Academy. I don't know if I could do it, y'all. And what happened is those seeds of doubt, no one else was saying that. You know who was saying that? I was saying that. And one of the biggest issues right now inside of 2024, inside of the world, inside of human relationships, and even inside of our internal thought processes is that we say negative things to ourselves and we are the ones that's thinking it. We are self-sabotaging ourselves out of a blessing that we're walking into. We are literally killing the opportunity for us to grow due to how we're talking to ourselves and what we're looking at and what we're listening to. In 2024, I'm not ashamed to say I've been on a 1 hour social media limit for this year. I do not need to consume so much stuff up there. And you must begin to ask yourself, what are the strongest voices inside of your mind? Is it past trauma that you haven't addressed? Is it negative friends and messy people around you? Because if you study this, I have never seen a successful person, the billionaires I've met, the millionaires I've met, the leaders I've met who are doing great things, I have never seen them hang around messy people. Why? Because being messy and gossiping about everyone else and doing negative things, it pollutes your mind and it kills your thinking and it distorts your perception. And what ends up happening is you create this false perception and reality of dysfunction and you think that dysfunction is okay. In reality of it is, it's crazy if you think about it. You ever seen somebody say their house is clean, but when you go into the closet, what's really inside of the closet is all the trash they took in their house and put in the closet? The house still smells. It still stinks. Why? Because you didn't truly address the things that are going on. You didn't properly look at how you're addressing situations and the perception and stuff that you're doing. What are you intaking? What is the biggest voices and the loudest voices inside of your mind? And you need to check that immediately. And how do you check that, everyone? How do I check that at that point in time? Once I got to Atlanta, once I got adjusted, you know how I checked it? Outside of faith, believing in God, something bigger than myself. And I know everyone that listens to this podcast, you may not necessarily be religious, but there is something that I think every person that's listening here, if you want to be a phenomenal leader, that you need to do. Therapy. Therapy. We go to dentists to check to see how much plaque is on our teeth. We go to doctors to get an annual physical to check our blood pressure. We go to the nutritionist to see is our blood sugar too high and what kind of foods can we put in place to make sure that we are operating at the most efficient level possible. But you know what we don't do regularly? We don't do a healthy checkup of our thinking and our mind. When was the last time you actually checked the thoughts and things that went through your mind with a professional? Why? Because sometimes the mind that created the problem can't be the same mind that solves the problem. Especially when you make decisions out of trauma, especially when you make decisions out of dysfunction. And I have been there and I know you have too. So I'm going to share some grace with you in 2024. Listen to me on today, my beautiful family that's tuning in to this amazing podcast, Conversations Unleashed, as we rise together. This is going to be the last year and the last moments that you self-sabotage yourself out of the next blessings in your life. This is going to be the last year that you continually talk negative towards yourself about things that are coming your way. This is the last year that you're speaking death towards the negative things that may possibly come your way and inside of your own path. This is the year that you change your life to actually speak life to your situation. This is the year that you change your friend circle so the right voices can go inside of your head. This is the year. 2024, the time is now. Stop wasting time and killing your own potential. You have to check your attitude first. No, it's not going to be dependent upon your actual status. No, it's not going to be dependent upon how many followers you have. No, it's not going to be dependent upon if you're verified or not. No, it's not going to necessarily be dependent upon how much money you have in the bank account. All of the books that I've written in every company that I started in that 1-bedroom apartment in Greenville, North Carolina, where the rent was $425 a month. I wrote both books there. I started my speaking career there. I started getting the job to the Ron Clark Academy here. I started influencing then when everything wasn't in place. You must address your attitude and watch the voices that are in your head and watch how you monitor the voices in your head. Watch the people you keep around you and believe in therapy. Go for it. Try it. Some companies are offering it free with the benefit program. Y'all, I go to therapy every Monday at 4:00. With all the success and things that I've had and have still to this day, I even check myself. The greatest people I know, they check themselves. So don't be afraid to do that. Now, as we end this podcast out on today, I believe in leaving you with some powerful affirmations. Now, this year has been a struggle for me because I'm trying to become consistent in working out. So I'm fighting along this path with you, all right? I'm trying to get better in certain aspects as well. But in this process, I don't want you to beat yourself up. Because I know that when you're changing and you're trying to turn something big and major in your life, it's not going to happen just in a day. This is a process. So as you close out this podcast, if you enjoyed it, just do me a favor. Share it with someone that you enjoy with. Share it with someone that you want them to see that maybe I can check my attitude. Maybe I need to look at how I'm thinking about this thing because maybe I'm thinking about it in the wrong way. I love you. I appreciate you. And as always, baby, you know the vibes, you know the lyrics, you know the lesson, you know my slogan, legacy over likes. Take care of yourself. Peace.